Welcome to StarWatch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. What if I told you, the higher you rise in fame, the tighter the chains become? Tonight, on StarWatch Now, we uncover the hidden battle behind the glamorous smiles of Asia's most loved celebrities, and reveal why even the brightest stars can be trapped in the darkest corners of the industry. From red carpets to flashing cameras, we see perfection. But behind closed doors, stories of contracts that silence voices, companies that control every move, and artists fighting to reclaim their freedom. And in the center of this storm, two names everyone knows: Zhao Lusi and Wang Yibo. Xiao Lucy's decision to speak out against the system that once built her career was not born from a moment of recklessness, but from a long and painful accumulation of experiences that left her with no choice but to confront the truth. For years, she had played the role the industry wanted, smiling at premieres, delivering flawless performances, and maintaining the image of the perfect, compliant star. Yet behind that public facade lay a story of exhaustion, isolation, and a quiet erosion of her autonomy. When illness struck, it became the ultimate test of the relationship between artist and agency. Instead of concern or support, she was met with cold calculations, millions in so-called compensation, demanded as if her health were an inconvenience to the bottom line. In that moment, Zhao Lucy realized that her value to the company was not measured by her talent, her years of dedication, or the audience she brought in, but by her ability to generate revenue without disruption. It was not the illness that broke her, but the clarity it brought. She was not an irreplaceable partner in their success, only a cog in a machine designed to keep turning, with or without her. Many in her position would have chosen silence, preserving what resources they had left, hoping to quietly rebuild. But Zhao Lucy chose the harder path, the path of truth. She knew the risks. Speaking out meant inviting industry backlash, risking the loss of roles, endorsements, and perhaps the trust of those too afraid to stand beside her. Yet there was also something profoundly liberating in refusing to accept the role she had been assigned. Her statement was not merely a complaint against mistreatment. It was a declaration that she would no longer measure her worth by the company's ledger. It was a message to her fans, her peers, and perhaps to herself, that dignity and self-respect are not luxuries to be traded for opportunity, but the foundation upon which true artistry must stand. In the unforgiving landscape of the entertainment industry, where silence is often mistaken for consent, Zhao Lucy's voice carried the weight of defiance. It was the sound of an artist reclaiming her narrative, even if it meant standing alone, and a reminder that sometimes the greatest performance is not on screen, but in the courage to be seen without a script. Wong Iba's career has been a spectacle of brilliance, blockbuster films, sold-out concerts, and a global fanbase that hangs on his every move. To the public, he appears to be a man in complete command of his destiny, a star who has conquered every stage placed before him. But beneath the polished image lies a quieter, more complex reality, one shaped by contracts, corporate oversight, and the invisible boundaries of an industry that prizes control over creativity. Despite being one of the most bankable names in Chinese entertainment, Wang Yibo does not operate with the freedom one might expect. Every script he considers, every event he attends, every post that appears under his name must pass through a corporate filter. His official brand, even the social media channels that seem personal, are ultimately overseen by the company. It is the paradox of being the face of an empire without owning the keys to it. His position within Lahua Entertainment is both enviable and constricting. Financial reports show that he is responsible for an extraordinary share of the company's revenue, over 60% in a single year. By all accounts, he is the pillar holding up the brand, the figure whose presence can influence stock prices and bring prestige to every project he touches. And yet, he remains bound to the structures that limit his autonomy. In the public eye, this restraint can be mistaken for humility, a quiet dedication to the team that supports him. In truth, it is also a form of survival, navigating an environment where stepping out of line can mean the slow erosion of opportunity. For Wong Iba, the struggle is not loud or dramatic. It is lived in the small, everyday negotiations between personal ambition and professional obligation. It is the knowledge that his image, his choices, and even his time are assets managed by others, often in ways that do not fully reflect his vision. This silent endurance does not diminish his talent or his dedication to his craft, but it raises a profound question about what it means to be free in a career built on public attention. His path is a reminder that not all battles are fought in the open. Some are waged quietly, in the space between what the world sees and what an artist must endure to keep creating. In that space, Wong Iba continues to shine, even as the weight of the system rests on his shoulders. The story of Zhao Lusi and Wang Yibo is not just about two individuals navigating personal hardships. It is a window into the architecture of an industry built to maintain control over those who bring it to life. Behind the glamour of premieres, magazine covers, and stage lights lies a network of contracts, management systems, and unspoken rules designed to keep the balance of power firmly in the hands of companies. In this system, artists are often celebrated publicly but privately treated as replaceable assets, their value measured not by the depth of their craft or the connection they forge with audiences, but by the revenue they can produce without disruption. It is a structure that rewards silence and punishes resistance. Those who comply are granted visibility and opportunity, though often on terms that strip away personal agency. Those who push back risk losing access to the very platforms they helped make valuable. This is not a uniquely Chinese phenomenon. Similar dynamics exist across entertainment industries worldwide, from Hollywood to Seoul. But in markets where a small number of agencies control the majority of resources, the grip can feel suffocating. The success of an artist becomes both a blessing and a shackle, drawing attention, generating income, but also binding them to the machinery that feeds on their image. The bigger picture is not only about exploitation. It is about the cost of visibility in an era where fame is both currency and constraint. The public often assumes that the wealth and influence of a top-tier celebrity equate to freedom, but the reality is that true independence in this environment is rare and hard-won. For every artist who breaks free to establish their own creative path, there are countless others who quietly compromise, trading pieces of their vision for the stability of staying in the system. Xiao Lucy's choice to confront her company head-on and Wang Yibo's decision to endure in silence represent two responses to the same underlying problem. One challenges the structure outright, the other navigates within its boundaries. Both reveal the human cost of a business that thrives on controlling narratives while selling the illusion of limitless opportunity. Until the power dynamic shifts, until partnerships replace ownership, the entertainment world will continue to produce stars whose brilliance hides the weight they carry. The true measure of progress will not be in the number of hits or endorsements, but in whether artists can finally own the stories they tell and the futures they build. Beneath the noise of headlines and the familiar rhythm of celebrity scandals, there is a quieter movement beginning to take shape, one that could change the future of the entertainment industry in ways not yet fully understood. It is not led by the most famous names or the most powerful executives, but by a growing network of artists, creators, and behind-the-scenes professionals who have grown weary of the same cycle of control and compromise. These are individuals who have seen firsthand the way contracts can suffocate creativity, how public image can be turned into a commodity, and how the people who bring stories to life are often the last to control their own narratives. Rather than accept the system as it is, they are experimenting with alternatives. Small creative alliances are forming, groups of actors, singers, screenwriters, and directors pooling their resources to develop projects independently, without the oversight of the major agencies that dominate the market. They share contacts, split production costs, and negotiate directly with distributors. Some are even looking to new technologies, using online platforms to bypass traditional gatekeepers and bring their work directly to audiences. It is risky, and for many it means smaller budgets, less marketing muscle, and fewer guarantees. But it also means greater freedom over scripts, over schedules, over the way their stories are told. This fresh perspective challenges one of the industry's oldest assumptions, that success must always come at the cost of autonomy. For those who have spent their careers carefully navigating the politics of big agencies, the idea of walking away from the protection and reach of a powerful company is daunting. Yet in the shadow of Zhao Lucy's bold defiance and Wang Yibo's quiet endurance, There is a growing awareness that the system will not change from the top down. Change will come from those willing to risk being small today to gain control tomorrow. It is still too early to say whether these independent alliances will reshape the entertainment landscape in any lasting way. But they represent something important, a refusal to accept that the only way to be seen is to be owned. In their own way, they are carrying forward the same spirit that drives artists to speak up, to resist, to dream of a career defined not by contracts and restrictions, but by the simple freedom to create. And perhaps that, more than any headline, is the beginning of a story worth telling.